Next week, Angelenos will vote on an important measure that would affect pedestrian safety. Find out what changes might be heading LA's way.
I'm Luisa Tripli, and I'm live at the USC Village, where an early voting location will become available on Saturday. Find out where you can vote near campus coming up.
Alabama lawmakers voted today to restore access to IVF treatment. Women are weighing in on how this could affect their reproductive health. We are just 5 days away from Super Tuesday, one of the most critical days of the year for voters to make their voices heard. Hi, I'm Liv Kelleher.
I'm Jonathan Martin. Tonight we are taking an in-depth look at some key races and issues on the ballot. There are 15 states holding Super Tuesday primaries, including California, Colorado, Texas, and Massachusetts. This year, around 41 million members of Generation Z will be eligible to vote. We asked USC students whether they'll be casting a ballot in March or November.
Yes, I am voting in the 2024 presidential election. I'm not going to abstain. There's a lot on the ticket that we need to address, but I mailed in my ballot yesterday.
I don't think I've familiarized myself enough with the candidates to be in the position to vote and be informed. So neither of the two major candidates seem ideal. It seems like a lesser of two evils that would be the voting decision, so I'm still undecided as of right now.
On Super Tuesday, Angelenos will vote on many important issues, both local and national, including their choice for United States President and Senator of California. For president, voters in California will have the choice between Democrats Joe Biden, Dean Phillips, and Marianne Williamson. On the Republican side, voters can choose between Donald Trump or Nikki Haley. You may notice that some candidates appear twice on your ballot, but the race will only fill one seat. Voters will be electing a U.S. Senator to serve the remainder of late Senator Dianne Feinstein's term and to serve for 6 years beginning next January. This could be the same person or two different people. 4 candidates lead the pack for California's U.S. Senator seat. Current Democratic Representatives Adam Schiff, Barbara Lee, and Katie Porter. Former Dodger Steve Garvey is leading the Republican candidate. The latest poll by Emerson College currently shows Schiff in the lead among decided voters by 8 points. LaFonza Butler, who Governor Gavin Newsom appointed as interim senator for Feinstein's death, will not be running to finish the term or for re-election.
Early voting metrics in Los Angeles County suggest a low voter turnout for the primary election. We talked to some local residents about what they're concerned about.
We get mixed up in the celebrity of our candidates, you know what I'm saying? I think that people don't make their own decisions, so I think that impacts our ability to vote right.
I don't personally feel like I know enough about politics or the candidates that are running, so I'd rather just kind of take a back seat personally.
I really want, Haley to win, because I think that we need a woman president.
According to numbers from Westside Current, just under 4.5% of registered voters had turned in ballots. We had the chance to speak to 2 political experts about the significance of voter turnout.
Young adults in general are incredibly important. They're one of the demographics that have what you might call untapped potential, right? If more young people voted to the rates that people say at retirement age vote, we would see their impact in the ballots.
So we're trying to make it to where civic engagement doesn't feel like it's dreary duty. It's part of being an American. And so we need to lean into that. We are the life force of our political system. And if we choose not to participate in it, then we are dooming our system to failure.
Young voters and independents are 2 groups that are currently lagging behind in early voting.
Angelenos will have also the chance to vote on measures this Super Tuesday. Measure HLA has to do with street safety. The Healthy Streets LA measure would force the city to carry out the mobility plan passed in 2015. The plan requires the city to make streets safer for pedestrians. It also includes adding more protected bike lanes and wider sidewalks. That would mean fewer traffic lanes. But the founder of advocacy group Streets for All says only 5% of planning has actually taken place. HLA is facing two major oppositions. The firefighters union says it will slow down their response times. The city's administrative officer says the measure will cost $3.1 billion and take money away from other city programs.
This is a mandate that does not have funding come along with it. So there are a number of other priorities, a number of other programs that will have to compete for the same dollars that will be required to implement the mobility plan.
Last year, 179 pedestrians died in car crashes on city streets. This was a record for Los Angeles. This billboard is a reminder that on Vermont Avenue alone, there have been 46 pedestrian deaths since 2013.
We're talking a lot about money, but these are lives. If a serial killer was on the loose in Los Angeles, killing an Angelino a day, injuring one every 5 hours, there would be a citywide manhunt. But that's happening today with cars, and we somehow just throw up our hands and say we can't afford to fix the problem. It's just not true.
6 LA City Council members have expressed support for the HLA measure. Another 3 oppose it. Groups supporting the measure have spent $3 million.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has introduced a new measure on the March primary ballot designed to tackle homelessness and mental health issues across California. Prop 1, called Treatment, Not Tents, would allocate billions of dollars to build houses for people with mental health and substance abuse issues. It would shift about $140 million tax dollars from the counties to the state. It would increase the state bond repayment cost of $310 million per year. $1 billion would be set aside for veterans. Opponents to the prop say it costs too much. They argue it could reduce funds for mental health services that have already been proven effective. Check out voterguide.sos.ca.gov to learn more. Now let's go to Luisa live in the USC Village, where voters can cast their ballots as early as tomorrow.
Thanks, Jonathan. Early voting is a great way to make voting more convenient for you. Stop by the USC Village on your way to campus to get your vote in early, starting this Saturday, March 2nd. The voting station in the Village will be open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. 47 states, including California, offer both in-person early voting and absentee voting by mail. Voting centers like this one, which is just 10 minutes from USC, offer a speedy voting experience. At many locations, you can also drop off your ballot in a ballot box. Take a look at this map to see your closest polling place. The locations will all be open on Saturday. If you'd like more information on how or where to vote, visit locator.lavote.gov. Now back to Jonathan and Liv in the studio.
Thanks, Luisa. For the very first time in Los Angeles, there is a polling place open at a resource center for trans and non-binary voters. The Connie Norman Transgender Empowerment Center is located in West Hollywood. It will be open as a voting center from March 2nd through March 5th. Their goal is to serve as a welcoming and safe voting space for non-binary, transgender, and LGBTQIA+ individuals.
Our intention this year was to create a polling space where people felt safe. I love seeing how it's coming and it's turning out.
I think it's really exciting that it's a voting center because I know a lot of folks, voting can be a little, especially with trans folks, voting can make you nervous because maybe your IDs don't match how you look, or people might dead name you or look a certain way. And so to know that you can come someplace safe to vote, I think is so important. And we definitely need trans people to show up and vote. So hopefully they'll come.
The center is open to all voters. It is a designated voting place for both the primary and the general election in November.
So what issues are important to young voters? We asked the question to USC students on campus, and here's what they had to say.
Especially like around the USC area, we see a lot of homeless people, a lot of people experiencing poverty. Just bring more awareness to that. Maybe hopefully change will come about. We can help these people out because they really desperately need it.
So I feel like with the advanced technology, it has changed like a lot of our lifestyles. Like, we're too much of a hustle culture, and our lives are so much pressure, which I think eventually kind of leads to maybe more mental problems and just exhaustion. Maybe something in regards to that would be nice to hear, to see like the negative effects of technology and how it's affecting us as a society.
And then obviously women's rights as well, to make sure that women have full autonomy over their bodies.
The question is whether students will turn out to vote. A recent Harvard Institute of Politics poll found that fewer young Americans plan to vote in 2024.
The Alabama Supreme Court recently ruled that frozen embryos used for IVF treatment could be considered children. Today, state lawmakers voted on the issue. Alabama lawmakers voted today to restore access to IVF treatment. A bill that would protect IVF nationally had a different fate.
If you're genuinely, actually, honestly interested in protecting IVF, then you need to show it by not blocking this bill today.
The GOP blocked the bill, sparking nationwide concern about the future of fertility treatment.
There's already issues with abortion, you can't, that whole issue. And now with the fertility issue, it's like they're stripping rights away from women.
Fertility treatment can be emotionally taxing, painful, and expensive. So why do women go through with it? And what's at risk if we don't have ownership of our reproductive rights?
Well, fertility treatment, and I think you should really think of it as reproductive rights, or, your ability to decide when and with whom and under what circumstances you want to reproduce. And some people simply do not have that option.
For some women, IVF is their best chance at having biological children.
So I got the shock of my life when I went in to get tested. And when they were doing the physical exam, figured out that one of my ovaries had no follicles left, like very little. And the other ovary only had like 7, which is very atypical.
If legislation gets in the way of Sarah's reproductive health, the results could be devastating.
Some politician or somewhere has some idea of what this might be like, who's never been through the process. Because I think when you have proximate to a problem, you experiencing something so different and you have more empathy towards it. But all these people have not had this experience, and they just are making assumptions.
While the Alabama ruling is promising, reproductive rights remain a major issue for voters. Many voters feel that this threat to IVF is a direct result of the U.S. Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade.
So, Liv, I've got to ask, how important is this issue to young voters and to voters in general?
I think that it's crucial. I mean, reproductive care is health care, and women are thinking about this younger and younger, and how we vote today will impact our futures and our access to reproductive care.
Very important matter. Well, a watch party for Super Tuesday will be held next week at 7 p.m. in Wallace Annenberg Hall. Discussions will be led by speakers from Annenberg, Dornsife, and other USC faculty. And be sure to tune in to our special Super Tuesday election coverage next Tuesday. Join us at 7:30 p.m. on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Thanks for watching See It Live. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Jonathan Martin.
And I'm Liv Kelleher. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.